historian and author of a book called Soldiering in the Army of Northern Virginia, a statistical portrait of the troops who served under Robert E. Lee, estimates that 4.9% of the population, or 24.9% of households in slave states, owned slaves. Now get this. Of the free blacks living in the South, some were slave owners. Famed historian Carter G. Woodson found that in 1830, 3,776 free Negroes owned 12,907 slaves. Historian Roger McGrath notes, quote, every one of the 13 states and most of the major cities that would become part of the Confederacy had substantial numbers of black slave owners.
What's going on, everyone? Sauce Kenny here today. We're back and we're going to watch another Larry Elder video. You know, we got 2 days left of Black History Month, and I figured I should end it off with the reparations. And yeah, a lot of people ain't going to like what's going to happen in this video. As you saw from the intro, reparations, like, my main problem with reparations is that Black Americans today, or American blacks today, who are descended from slaves, want to gain wealth, want to gain handouts, social entitlements off the back of the suffering of their ancestors. How is that good? To me, that is not moral. You didn't suffer through anything, and then you want to benefit off the suffering of your ancestors? It sounds like y'all exploiting your ancestors too. Bruh. But hey, you know, I digress. Let's get into the video.
About reparations, a skeptical President Barack Obama in 2016 told reparations proponent Ta-Nehisi Coates that it would divide the country. Obama said, quote, it is hard to think of any society in human history in which a majority population has said that as a consequence of historic wrongs, we are now going to take a big chunk of the nation's resources over a long period of time to make that right. So the bottom line is that it's hard to find a model in which you can practically administer and sustain political support for these kinds of efforts. End of quote.
True. There you go, Obama. True. Because essentially, and you guys saw in the intro, some of y'all black people, y'all descendants from black slave owners. Bruh. And no, I know I'm going to get some astute people in my comment section that's going to tell me, well, of course Obama's going to say that. He's a descendant from a slave owner. Oh, some of y'all didn't know Obama's a descendant from slave owner? Oops. Bruh. Kamala Harris too. Bruh. 2 Democrats. Crazy, isn't it? It's so crazy. This is why no one wants to audit for the reparations thing, because we already know the numbers. The numbers are already there.
Writer Dinesh D'Souza estimates that no more than 10 Republicans, 10 out of 395,216 slave owners, according to an 1860 census, owned slaves. The Ku Klux Klan was founded by Democrats. Congressional Democrats were overwhelmingly opposed to the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. As a percentage of the party, more Republicans voted for the Civil Rights Act of 1964 than did Democrats.
The Democrats were just using reparations as a carrot on a stick to keep y'all in line, to keep for black people to keep voting 90% Democrat. That's the only reason they waving the reparations thing. But they're never going to act on it. Just like the student loan forgiveness, it's the same playbook. But when people are going to realize that if you want change and impact, you got to look at the person in the mirror. If you try to depend on someone else outside of your control to do something, that's less probable to happen compared to if you're the one doing it, if you're the one driving the change. This is why I'm preaching to the choir, I guess. But this is why I keep trying to tell black people or Americans as a group that it's up to them to decide, hey, how are we going to change things? Hey, if I don't like what the school board is doing, what ways can I find to take my kid out of public school? What sacrifices do I have to make for the betterment of my children, the future generations of Americans, right? And I think black people don't think this way. I think black people want reparations because it benefits them now, even if it hurts their kids in the future. They don't care. Bruh. And yeah, I'm talking because every time, and this is my thing. If a community is the poorest community, it was one of the poorest communities in America, I always blame the previous generation or your parents. That's just my take, right? I blame my parents for putting me in a situation where I had to be raised by a single parent household. I grew up in the ghetto in the hood. That's my mom's fault. After 18, it's no longer my mom's fault. Now, hey, let's see what you're gonna do with it. That's how I think, right? But you know, a lot of people don't think like me. But all I'm trying to say is until the black community gets its internal decision making going, like until we can make good decisions as a group, bro, we're gonna keep being dependent on the welfare state, on the government. But hey, I digress. Let's get back into the video.
That's what Obama said in 2016. And a majority of blacks support reparations today. Hopefully not the approach of this young lady.
The Q-tip people are the last ones to ever talk about somebody stealing anything. Y'all wouldn't be in this country had it not been for y'all stealing it. But y'all are more focused on people looting and trying to get necessities and things that they need. And yes, a TV is a necessity thing. Then the
people like this hurt y'all cause. People who are for reparations, people like this hurt y'all cause because all is seen as if, hey, I just want to exploit the situation. Oh, I happen to be black. I have no proof that I'm actually a descendant of slave, but I want to riot and whatever because I happen to look like certain groups of people. Bruh. Right? And this is an opportunist. This is an opportunist. How is a TV a necessity? You have a phone. Like, people always complain about how, oh, we're still at the bottom. We're still at the bottom. Bruh, don't you know that the bottom 20% compared to 10 years ago, you got more technology, more amenities. Y'all have more stuff, more material wealth than the bottom 20% 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Bruh. But you mad that you don't have what the top 80% have. You're at the bottom. And that's because of your personal choices or the choices of your parents. Bruh. Y'all have no, like, to me, no one has anything to blame but yourself. Your life today is the result of your decision making that you made in the past. That is that's to me, that's hands down what it is. You can't come here and be like, oh, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. Well, you chose to be a teacher, so you get the teacher's lifestyle. This person chooses to be an engineer, he gets an engineer lifestyle. You're not entitled to the same stuff, especially if you don't make the same decisions. Bruh. But people want to keep bringing this victim narrative over and over again. And then when they get arrested, they want to cry. They want to cry wolf. Oh, I didn't do anything. Oh, look, it's racism. Who told you to go in there and try to take the TV? And then when you get held accountable for your actions, you want to cry victim. This is the cry bullying a lot of people are complaining about in the black community. And then y'all want to get mad when they see a bunch of y'all black Americans moving into a neighborhood, you mad that the white people want to leave or other groups of people want to leave. Bruh. I'm just saying. Pattern recognition, that's not racism. To see a trend and be like, oh, these people tend to do this. Let me not be around those people. Let me not expose my family to the danger of this. And you know who's the worst people who do flight when y'all come in? Other affluent black people. Bruh. How you know that, Kenny? I'm one of them. Because if I see a bunch of y'all move in, I'm like, I already know. Because I know, I grew up with y'all. I already know what y'all gonna do. Y'all gonna tear up the neighborhood. The neighborhood's going to lose its property value. So let me sell my house now while my value is still high before the impacts of you guys coming in drastically affects the neighborhood. Y'all can get mad all y'all want, but it's not a race thing. It's a pattern recognition thing. We know what comes along with y'all. Low income people, when they move into an affluent area, they bring down the value of the area. It's not because of y'all race. But y'all don't want to look at yourselves. Y'all don't want to see yourselves as the problem. Y'all want everything else to be y'all want everything else to be the problem because y'all perfect. Nope. And I don't know who said this. I think it was Cam Samuels. He talked a lot about how black people need to take back their image, their brand. And I agree with him. We need to change that brand. We need to stop associating with, oh, black people are about being thugs because that's what's authentically black. You get a black man like me who speaks proper English, they're going to say, oh, you talking white, you're a lame. I heard it all growing up in my life. I don't know. I'm rambling. Let me get back.
people who are literally freezing to death in their own home, freezing to death outside because this city did not shut down the way it should have. Byron Brown want to get on here and talk about, we told y'all, we knew this was going to happen. But why didn't you close businesses when you should have? Why you got everybody rushing home at noon when the and that was just the beginning of the storm. So if you don't live in Buffalo, even if you do live in Buffalo, you feel like you're better than because people are out here stealing and you would never. First of all, if you are a Mayo monster, that is how your ancestors got everything from stealing. People are out here trying to get toilet paper. People are out here trying to get, just small little food from Family Dollar, and y'all got to capitalism, steal everything that you need, babe. Because at the end of the day, this city continuously fails us whenever we have any type of emergency.
But y'all vote in the same leadership over and over again. I don't know if this is Buffalo, New York. I don't know where it's at. I'm probably getting the states confused. But whatever it is, like this is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't believe most people are victims. I think they're volunteers. Even if you're an uneducated volunteer, You voted for this stuff in, and you crying that they don't do nothing for you. The Democratic Party say, "Oh, we're gonna give you reparations." You believe them, vote for them in, and then they can't, and then they just dangle it on the stick for you. They still don't give it to you. Same playbook. Make promises, they don't deliver. Right? And this is how I see the party. Republicans are honest with you and say, "Hey, we can't really do nothing for you." The Democrats, they lie to you and say, "Oh yeah, we could do everything for you." What's the difference between a Democrat and a Republican? Nothing. They're both politicians. One politician is actually being honest with you. Hey, we can't really guarantee the American dream for you, but we can do everything we can to make sure you have the opportunity and the rights to try to pursue the American dream for yourself. The Democrat Party, they're the ones trying to give you guarantees, and then you find out they can't.
Nope.
Y'all been like, oh, Biden was like, oh, student loan forgiveness. I'll cancel 50,000 student loan debt, right? Y'all was like, yes, and you go in, vote for him. And then what happened? Nancy Pelosi come in and said, well, the president don't really have the power to cancel student loan forgiveness.
Bruh.
This is how y'all get finessed. Because black people don't understand how their governmental system works. This is my part. American blacks that are descended from slaves will give me hell. Because, oh, Kenny, you're not an authentic black American because you're a first generation American. You came from immigrant parents, right? But how my immigrant parent come in but know more about the governmental system than you, who's been here for generations on generations on generations. So that means the previous generations never really educated you on how this system actually works.
Bruh.
And then y'all want to get mad at America when you don't even understand how America actually works. You come out, oh, we're supposed to be entitled to all this. Okay, how are you going to get all that? You don't even know where the money coming from. You think the government just have money. No, the money they take it from other people. They take it from the high performing people. The top 10% of taxpayers pay 90% of the taxes in the country.
Bruh.
And they get none of those entitlements. But you do, who don't contribute at all. 60% of Americans do not pay taxes whatsoever. And a large proponent of that is, I hate to say it, but African Americans. So that means you contribute nothing really to the pot, but you extract a lot from the pot. And then you crying, talking about how, oh, America's a systemic racist country. When, bruh, you ain't contributed much to it. But you want to be mad. But you want to feel entitled to go loot, steal, destroy. Like, I don't understand this entitlement that if America, like, this is where I get confused. If America is such a racist country, why you in your head you have this idea that white people are supposed to give you something, right? Y'all don't go to war, nothing. Yeah, but y'all expect white people to give y'all something. How? If in my head, if I lived in a racist country, I wouldn't expect the people in power to do nothing for me.
Bruh.
So even by y'all actions, y'all don't believe what y'all saying. Y'all know y'all can get something out of it. That's why y'all play victim. I digress, man. I've been rambling too long. Let's get back into the video.
Byron, do better.
Did she say the Q-tip people? I think she did. Now, a leading proponent of reparations and the author of a very influential piece advocating reparations is Mr. Coates, the person who interviewed Barack Obama.
It's been said, I think, or alluded to repeatedly throughout this conversation that somehow wealthy African Americans are immune to these effects. But in addition to the wealth gap that's cited, one thing that folks should keep in mind is that quote-unquote wealthy African Americans are not the equivalent of quote-unquote wealthy white Americans in this country.
Yeah, because you do Brook deals, you do all this stuff, and you expect to have the same level of wealth as a white man that started a tech company. All right.
Bruh.
Like, come on. Don't even look into all the black people with the wealth gap, whatever. Ask this question. Okay, what kind of industries are these black people doing business in? Oh, real estate, okay. And then if you go on the white side, how many CEOs you know that are founders and CEOs of tech company, what nationality they are? They're either white, Asian, Indian.
Bruh.
Who gonna make more money? The tech field, obviously. And if the tech field has mostly white people in it, would it be some surprise that white people there's a wealth gap even amongst affluent black people? Come on, guys. Anyone who is a multivariable analysis. Any person in here in the world that tells you, oh, the only reason these discrepancies exist is because of one factor, they're lying to you. Come on, guys.
Bruh.
But hey, I digress, man.
The average African-American family in this country making $100,000, just, decent money, actually lives in the same kind of neighborhood that the average white family making $35,000 a year lives in. That is totally tied to the legacy of enslavement and Jim Crow. And
I'm sorry, guys, I keep pausing it, but y'all might have to watch this video by yourselves. How is legacy of slavery influencing your decision making today? The only legacy of slavery that I see is CRT teaching you that you're less than because you're black. That's the only legacy of slavery I see. Bruh. And then you using that as an excuse. That's all it seems like to you. But like, where am I here to talk the real talk about, hey, we got to do better as a community. We got to take the power into our hands. What can we change? Because that's the only way you can find strength as a people. Looking at yourselves and how you go. Imagine a tribe leader. He has his tribe and he's saying, oh, it's up to the other tribes to do something for us because they took our land. They did this. Bruh, in a basketball game, you don't expect the other team to take it easy on you. You don't expect the other team to do something in your best interest. It's up to you and your team to do what's best interest of you guys. How you going to perform? Hey, how you going to play defense? You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. And imagine him being your chief and he responds, oh, the legacy of slavery, we can't do that. That don't solve the problems you're dealing with right now. So we're supposed to keep waiting for generations on generation. And this is how they keep y'all comfortable in y'all complaining. This is how they keep y'all comfortable from fixing anything, truthfully. And because I don't subscribe to that logic, y'all want to get mad at me.
How dare you?
Nah, this is the worst. This is the worst thing I ever hear from Black Americans. That, oh, I can't do nothing. And then I'm looking at your life. I'm like, yo, you smoking weed. You don't read any books. You don't even know the first thing about the system. Like, how you can play a game well if you don't understand how the game works. If you don't understand the rules of the game, can you really play a game? No, you can't.
It doesn't make sense.
And then y'all ignorant butts want to come out here saying, oh, we want reparations. Oh, do you know the cost of reparations? Do you know who's responsible for reparations? Do you know who's going to pay reparations? Nope. But y'all know y'all supposed to have it. And then y'all want to call everyone else, oh, y'all extorted us, y'all doing this, but you part of it too. You're an extorter too. Bruh. You extorting your ancestors that you had no ties. You didn't have to go through none of the suffering, but you get all the benefits. Oh, que lindo, how nice. But I digress. Let's get back into it.
The input and the idea in the mind that white people and black people are somehow deserving of different things.
Yeah, CRT. Bruh. CRT tell y'all that. Oh, y'all deserve different things. You're oppressed, you're oppressor. He has privilege, you don't have privilege. You should be doing this. You should be doing this for this person because you're white and you're guilty by association. So you owe us something. That's CRT teaching y'all that. But y'all gonna say this is a system. Oh, you're gonna say, oh no, we don't care about race. America cares about race. Bruh. But look at y'all mouth talking. This is like, isn't he an author, like the CRT, one of the CRT authors? I don't know. I don't read his books. I'm just tired of the victim narrative at this point. Because at this point, the black community right now, they volunteer for this ish. That's them. They volunteer for this. And because I take the stance, hey, I don't want the state to do nothing for me. Y'all want to come out here?
How dare you?
But at least I know I'm in control, full control in my financial situation. No government's going to tell me where I have to live because they don't cover my rent in this area. So I have to live here. Like no one's telling me nothing. I can live whatever I want. Because I'm relying on myself, right? Responsibility lies, authority lies as well. If you're not responsible for where you're living at right now, someone else has authority over you. I'm just letting you know.
If I injure you, the injury persists even after I actually commit the act.
But it affects you, the individual, and maybe your family. But generations out, you're going to tell me, oh, your great-great-great-grandfather hurt my great-great-great-grandfather, so you owe me something. That's what, bruh. That's the reparations argument? Are you really going to say that? Yo, I need to hear it in the comment section, guys. I know some of y'all are going to disagree with me, but I want to hear it because that's essentially what he's saying. Oh, because you hurt my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather a long time ago. Your great-great-great-grandfather, you have to owe me something because now you doing well, and it's because your grandfather was allowed to hurt my grandfather. That's why you're doing so well today. Come on, bro.
If I stab you, you may suffer complications long after that initial actual stabbing. If I shoot you, you may suffer complications long after
Not a good
that
argument.
initial shooting. That's the case with African Americans. There are people well within the living memory of this country that are still suffering from the
400 years
after effects
ago?
of that.
Now, in a Rasmussen January 2021 survey, 28% of likely voters supported reparations. Only 18% of Republicans, 35% of independents, but 60% of Democrat likely voters support reparations. Now, according to conservative author Michael Medved, since so many of today's non-Black Americans are descendants of post-Civil War immigrants, as few as 5% of today's whites have what he called a generational connection to slavery.
Look at that graph. Only 5%. By legacy of slavery.
Bruh.
This is the type of thing that pissed me off, bro. 5%. Look at it. 5%. But the money got to come from somewhere. Y'all think, oh, the rich? I want to know, because end of the day, the top 10% of the taxpayers, they're the one who pay most of the taxes anyway. I want to know how many of them are descended from slaves, because if y'all don't even have half of that number, there's no way y'all getting reparations. Reparations is impractical to actually get. But y'all can keep wishing for it, though. I'm telling you, it ain't gonna happen. Someone's gonna be like, oh, how dare you?
How dare you?
No, it's the truth. Y'all been coddled too long. The Black community's been coddled too long. Y'all not getting reparations. Reparations is folly. It's a pipe dream. Y'all gonna keep waiting for reparations.
Bruh.
Because only 5%, no one's gonna pay something that they didn't do. Period. End of story. So y'all better figure it out. I'm sorry. Y'all better figure it out. Because this is why I'm saying focus on y'all. Because focus on how y'all make y'all situation better. Focus on how, hey, let's not make the future generation of Black people repeat the current mistakes that we're doing right now. That's the best thing you can do for your kids and for your future, for your people in general. But sitting here waiting on 5%, how much wealth can you get from 5%? You know how much money it'll take to give reparations at the level you guys want? It's more than 5%. Y'all needed it to be at least 80% of white people to get reparations, but y'all only got 5. They did it already. Y'all want to act like, oh, they haven't done the audit yet. No. And some of y'all are descended from some Black slave owners. Just to let y'all know.
Bruh.
So and this is how I know it's a disingenuous argument, the reparations movement. Because if you find out you were descended from a Black slave owner and you had to pay reparations, I bet you will change your tune. I bet you will change your tune. And this is all this reparation movement is. It's all about a means of self-interest. But hey, I digress. You guys can watch the rest of the video in the comment section below. I know I rambled a lot. This was pretty much me going off, but I digress. Let me know what you guys' thoughts on in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I really do appreciate you watching to the end of the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.